Hey everybody, welcome back to my channel. If this is your first time, then welcome to my channel. My name is Kennedy and today we're going to be doing a get to know me. So I have a lot of new subscribers recently. Hey y'all! And you guys haven't gotten to know me on this level. I do a lot of content, a lot of Greek content specifically, and you guys kind of don't know like my Greek background about me. I kind of mentioned it like a little bit, but I haven't really done like a real get to know me. So yeah, we're gonna be doing a Greek get to know me and we're gonna start now. Okay, so I was initiated in the Mu Upsilon chapter at Cornell University, spring 2017. There were 7 of us on our line. I was number 4. I was the baby, the only freshman on the line. And our ship name was Vida Nazuri, which is in Swahili. Y'all can look it up. And my line name is Vibrant Valor. So why did I choose to become an AKA? Well, first of all, I am a legacy. And for those of you who don't know what that means, it means that either your mother, your stepmother, your legal guardian, or grandmother, I'm pretty sure those are the requirements, is an active member for over 24 months before you cross. So essentially my mom was a huge influence on my Greek journey. I grew up doing a lot of Greek events, going to a lot of community service, like doing a lot of parties and stuff with my mom and her chapter. And so essentially, yeah, like through seeing the vision through my mother, I wanted to become an AKA myself. I also have Greek, like everybody in my family is pretty much Greek. So just growing up in that Greek culture and really, I don't know, just loving, helping people and serving people and seeing the impact that we had in our community essentially led me to Greek life, but then specifically becoming AKA because why would I want to be anything else, period. And then, okay, if you want to know like outside of my mother, just look into like all of AKA's history, like being the first to break a lot of boundaries is something that's really important to me. Just like being trailblazers, like AKA did that. She was that girl. Also, the branding that AKA has, very sophisticated, very classy. You know, there's a lot of things that you wouldn't see an AKA do that you might see somebody in another organization do. Not calling them out or anything, but I think the AKA is very specific about the way that they market. And that is something that was really appealing to me. Also, while I was on campus, a lot of the AKAs were people that I looked up to, especially being a freshman, like seeing the great things that they were doing, whether that was internships or maybe what they were doing after graduation. It was really inspiring. And I looked up to them. And that was just something that, you know, really validated it for me. The way that I felt going to the events, the way that I've always felt going to the events and being around, you know, other now sorors of mine, really just had that heartwarming feeling. And I think even to this day, like I can be around a group of sorors and they bring my mood up from, you know, a low place. And they really just, I don't know, it just does it for me. You don't know until you know. And I know. So how about that? What's my favorite thing about being AKA? There's just so many things. I think my main favorite thing about being an AKA, besides like the community impact that we have, is the sisterhood. Like being around, I think it's very underrated, being around a plethora of successful Black women. Being in that type of environment is just extremely supreme. You never have a time where you don't feel like motivated or supported or seen. I think being around a lot of people, especially now that I'm in a grad chapter and I'm on the younger side, it really gives a lot of inspiration. It makes me feel valued to be around people that, you know, want to see that I'm successful, and want to see me grow and care about me and love me the way that, you know, a family would love you. And I think that it's very undervalued having that like support system. I went to a PWI, so like being around people that always look like you is a lot different than being around people that don't always look like you. Okay, sorry, my cat came. But yeah, just being around a whole bunch of people that look like you, it feels different. It is different. It is very underrated, especially coming from a PWI where, you know, sometimes I might have felt uncomfortable speaking my mind or really being my true self, you know, code switching, my cat, and things of that nature. Like, being around a whole bunch of people that look like you, understand you, you know, can value your inside beauty, your outside beauty, is something that is extremely undervalued and underrated. And I think I didn't realize that by going to a PWI until I became an AKA. Like being around a whole bunch of AKAs, I'm just constantly motivated by the fact that these people are CEOs, doctors, lawyers, this, that. And like there's never a space to not be inspired in those type of spaces. I recently went to my sister's homecoming and she goes to a HBCU and it felt exactly the same way. I'm like, wow, like I did not know that this was a space that I was missing in my life. And now that I have it, I am very grateful. I'm very grateful. And I will say that I think we undervalue having spaces that look like us that are also influential to your life. So not being around people that are on the same level as you, but people that, you know, have more experience than you, that maybe have a career field that is different than you, that are at a higher level and position and older and stuff like that than you, is just a space that you need to be in so that you can, you know, there's a lot of times where people feel down. There's a lot of times where people feel like they don't have anybody to turn to or have anybody as a mentor. And that's never the case in AK, especially being in a grad chapter. And I'm very grateful about that. What are some hard parts? I think specifically it's the business side of AK because, you know, AK essentially it's a non-profit, but it is a business. So there are certain rules and regulations that we have to follow, quote unquote protocol. And essentially just understanding all the rules, understanding how things go, how a meeting is run, like the way that you specifically say things, whether it's emotion or this or that, I think is the hardest part for me, just because in undergrad, I did that a little bit, but not to the same scale, especially now that I'm like a committee chairman. There's just a lot of like protocol rules and stuff that you just have to know and do things and get things approved and XYZ. And so I think just knowing like the actual logistics of the whole entire organization takes a while. So make sure that y'all are reading your documents, your making sure that you all are reading your documents, your constitution and bylaws, Robert's Rules of Order. Munchkin, you're ruining my video. Get out of my video. What positions have I held? Yes. So in undergrad, I was undergraduate president for a little bit. I was also parliamentarian, and I think I was treasurer for like 3 seconds. Yeah, it's a little bit different in undergrad because, you know, people graduate or people like have seasonal type roles just because of the way like the school calendar falls. I was initiated in the spring, and so people were graduating in the spring. So even though like I was brand new, I got into a role very quickly after I was initiated. And that happens all the time with like spring graduations, fall graduations. Sometimes you guys have like special elections, because stuff happens like that. So you might not be in a role even for that long. It kind of just depends on how your chapter is run. Does the vice president become the president, or does it not matter? Stuff like that. So yeah, that was an undergrad. And then in grad, I am on the PR and marketing committee in my chapter, and I'm co-chairman for that. I also do our CHIP program. I help with our CHIP program. So in our Empower Our Families initiative, I help with the CHIP Power Packs. And then, on a regional level, I am Central Region's photography chairman. So yeah. My cat does not want me to be great in this video. Okay, so undergrad experience. So like I said, I was initiated at Cornell University. I was the only freshman. I was literally 18 when I became an AKA. So it's been a few little minutes. That is her making noise right now. And yeah, so basically my experience was a little cut short, just because I was really only in that undergraduate space for like 2 years before I became like an undergraduate general member, essentially. And I'm not going to get into that because that's none of y'all business. But essentially it was good. Like when we first crossed, that was like right at the end of the school year. So we really didn't start assuming, you know, roles and stuff like that until we came back in the fall. So I was a sophomore at that point. And we did events like all the time. We did events almost like every single week of the semester. We were very, very popular on campus, had the highest GPA on the yard at the point. We did the yard show. Like we were very, very actively involved in the community. When we first came back, we're having lots of events, things of that nature. Actually, my line is the last line that has ever been had at Cornell so far, spring 2017. So, but I think that I did have a good experience while we were active on campus. It was kind of hard after that just because everybody else was active on campus and then I wasn't. But I was still active financially. So let's not do that. I was still attending regional conferences and things of that nature because I was active on campus. Specifically, I did not really like Great Lakes region. Just because like the vibe was awful. I was there. I grew up in Central, and not like bashing on Great Lakes or anything like that, but I think that growing up in Central has a culture that I was used to. You know, Chicago is in Central region, and I was used to very Chicago-esque type of AKA. And so then when I went to New York, it just was like, this is not like what I'm used to. It's not that there's anything wrong with it. It's just like not what I'm used to. So after I became undergraduate general member, I will go back home for Central Regional Conference, and I've only attended Central Regional Conferences. So those are the conferences for regionals that I've attended. In undergrad, I did attend in New York our cluster conference, our Western New York cluster, and then I did undergraduate roundup, which I don't think is a conference anymore, but that was like my first semester as an AKA. We went to undergraduate roundup, and I think it was in Cincinnati, but yeah. What has my grad experience been so far? So I graduated in 2020, so it was like a little weird. I didn't technically want to join a grad chapter until I could visit in person. So obviously that did not happen with COVID and everything because we were having virtual meetings until about the end of 2021 going into 2022. Actually, it might have just been 2022 when we went back to being completely in person. But essentially, I did not want to join a chapter when I could not meet the people, see the vibes and things like that. So I was general until 2022. And then I went and I started joining, visiting chapters and seeing like, okay, does this have like kind of the things that I want? I was looking for a team that had a team. I was looking for a chapter that had young people. I was looking for a chapter that had established events. So I didn't want like one that was like recently chartered. Like I wanted one that had, you know, some type of foundation, some type of backbone, because I didn't want to be like, it's kind of like undergrad where you're building the chapter from the ground up. I did not want to do that. I wanted to be integrated into a chapter that had some history, some historical context to it. So definitely that. I was, what else was I looking for? Oh, I didn't want it to be too big, but I also didn't want it to be too small. And I wanted to be on a STEP team. So I definitely wanted a chapter that was active in the STEP community. And then just one that felt good. You know what I'm saying? Like at the end of the day, that was my list. But like, if I didn't have all the things on that list because the chapter just made me feel good, I was cool with that. And I kind of landed in my chapter, Chi Omega chapter. Stop playing with us, you know. And yeah, so I joined Chi Omega in the fall of 2022 and haven't looked back. You know, I think what really did it was watching them at regional conference in 2021, and their STEP team was so good. It was so good. It was so cute. And I was like, oh yeah, that's it. They had young people on the STEP team. They had older people on the STEP team. It was all type of sorts in between. And I was like, yep, that's the one. That's the one. I went to go visit, had a great time. Stores were really hospitable. Like our chapter is a very huggy, touchy, feely type of chapter. You know, ooh, we always got to give a hug. Ooh, we always are giving a gift. Ooh, like it's just always a vibe. We have like themed chapter meetings. It's the vibe. And I clicked with a lot of people there. And I also knew that one of my profiles from the 80s actually was in that chapter. And I didn't even know like that I had any profiles from that far back that lived in Chicago, let alone down the street from me, and let alone in the chapter that I wanted to join. So like that was just all a lot in one. And so yeah, definitely that's why I joined the chapter. Any other experiences? I think so far, I also forgot to mention that I'm on the STEP team, so that's also technically a committee. But so far, like I've been having really good positive experiences. I think if there's anything I could change, is having access to more younger sorors, because I think I spend a lot of time with the older sorors just because that's what's on the STEP team with me. You know, I'm the youngest person on the STEP team, but the oldest person on our STEP team is 53. You know what I'm saying? So like we have that range in between, with the range being more on this end than on my end. But just having access to younger sorors, because like although the sorors that I hang out with, they like to go out and they like to party, and I'd be like, hold on, wait a second. I can't hang with y'all. Y'all hang out too late. But just some more people my age, just because, you know, I think it's hard finding friends as an adult. And that is something that we don't like to talk about. Like they kind of just throw you, the American education system throws you in these type of situations, and they don't tell you how to get out of them. Like how from preschool all the way until you graduate college, are you literally like with your friends constantly? And then they throw you into adulthood as like a 22-year-old. And like everybody that you work with is like 40 plus. And they're like, okay, live your life. Doesn't make any sense to me. So I think just having more spaces where younger sorors can get together and like I can build those bonds of friendships the same way that I built with like older sorors in the chapter is the only thing that will be a difference. Like although there are younger people, I don't see them that frequently. I've got to be honest. I know I'm very active, so people know me. They see me. Y'all know me. Y'all who are not even in my chapter, y'all know me. Where's everybody else? And I understand like after undergrad, like AKA can be very expensive. I mean, even in undergrad, AKA can be very expensive with conferences and things of that nature. But like in grad chapter, what they don't talk about is like assessments and dues. If your chapter has a foundation, you have to pay technically like dues to your foundation. So that's a whole other lump sum of money. Then you have your dues. Then you have, brunches and lunches and events and this and that and reimbursements for events. Like the money doesn't come from like a debit card. It comes from a soror, and then the soror gets reimbursed. Like those are all expenses that, are coming out of your pocket. And especially if you're new to your job or you have like an entry level salary, like that can be something that takes a hit on that. You're paying rent, you're paying for bills, groceries, everything else. And then you got to pay for AK. And then there's conferences. Like it can get expensive. So I can understand why, but I just be hoping that, maybe 2 or 3 or 4 more that are active and show up all the time. And I would love that for me. You know what I'm saying? I would love that for me. Just a couple more friends. Just a couple more younger friends. So yeah, that would probably be the only thing. I think otherwise it's just like any other chapter. I love being in like a larger chapter, which I didn't expect. Just because there's always something going on. There's always an event. Like we have like a group chat, and in our group chat, I'm like, dang, how we got events 2-3 times a week? I can't keep up. I can't keep up in the group chat with all of us. And there's almost 400 people in my chapter. And sometimes it's hard to keep up. Yeah. It is. And that's a lot of messages if you think about it. But it's always something to do. There's always some type of sister relations. We have these things called like soror squads, and which we kind of already had integrated into our chapter before it was an initiative. But like, like cinema cuties, pink on the green, like you have neighborhood based ones. Like there's just like different things that you do with sorors, whether you guys like crafting or whether you guys like, traveling, sisterhood of the traveling pants. Like there's always different ways that you can interact with different sorors, meet new sorors, outside of just the community service that we do all the time. We're always working. Love my chapter because we be doing that work. But yeah, so I guess just like some final questions. So what has AKA taught me? I think AKA has exposed me to people and places and things in a way that I would have never been before. Like if I just think about from my undergrad experience, like I grew up in a very blackity black type of environment. You know what I'm saying? And although the sports I did were like predominantly white sports, like I did swimming and water polo and stuff like that, I did not have much interaction with like things that you would pertain to a more white lifestyle, like the type of traveling and the type of conversations and type of experiences and stuff that people that are just generally more wealthy have. I didn't really have that until I went to Cornell. And people at Cornell be rich. And I just had never met people that like grew up in predominantly white backgrounds or, had predominantly white friends in high school and elementary school. That was like something that I wasn't really exposed to. So they had different experiences that I just didn't have. So being able to like converse about our childhood, converse about high school, converse about like, how we came into our blackness and stuff like that was just a different experience than what I had. I think also geographically, because I went to school not in the Midwest, which is where I'm from, and coming to the East Coast, I just got exposure to traveling to New York, DMV, like all of those areas, on the east side of the United States that I had never really like traveled to much before. Like I had been, but not in the same way. And just being able to geographically expand. I have friends all over the place now just because of that. Like some of my pros live in LA, some of my pros live in New York City. Like my line sister goes to school like at University of Michigan. So like there's always just places to go and places to be and experiences to be had. And then also like we travel together, we do things together, we, go to events together, like just being able to have people to do stuff with, and they have different interests than me. So we do stuff that's different all the time. Like one of my line sisters loves jazz clubs, and I had never been to like a jazz club before. So when I went to go visit her during, like she's in her residency right now, when I went to go visit her, we went to a little jazz club moment, and I said, okay, hold on. And like even like New York City, like I had been to New York City in undergrad, but like going to New York City while you're older and like you can, have like a nice sit down dinner, a nice spa situation and like this and that, like, what I'm saying? That's just different. And I had never really like experienced that before. So just being able to have new experiences because you meet new people that like different things and that have experienced other things and know like the best spots to do this, the best spots to do that is, opens up a plethora of new experiences and worldliness to yourself. So definitely that for sure. And I think on the grad chapter level too, like the exposure that I have to different career paths and different lifestyles and different like ways to do things, just because a lot of these sorors are a lot older than me. So they've experienced so much more life and have so much mentorship to give to me. And I need it. Yeah, I need it. But yeah, just being able to, I don't know, just talk to different people and experience different things and learn different ways to do stuff and different life paths and stuff like that has just been very beneficial to me. And I think that the biggest thing is like community. Like the community is up there. She's up there. You know what I'm saying? Obviously everybody is not going to be your best friend. And that's just with any situation. What you think? It's a whole bunch of girls. You think everybody going to be your best friend? No, where does that work? That don't work nowhere in this United States of America, this whole entire United world or whatever. Like it just doesn't, because that's just how it is. But I think that I've had more positive experiences than not. And I've just met so many cool people, and gotten to do so many cool things. And like, I don't know. It's nothing like, having a Sora just be like, oh, Sora, like, come and do this with me. Or, oh, Sora, like, oh, I have an extra step show ticket. Like, do you want to go to step show? Like, there's just different things that you wouldn't necessarily think about being very powerful and meaningful in your life until you have them happen to you within a sorority. And so, yeah, there's that. It's irreplaceable. Like, the girls that get it. The girls that don't. And I'm sorry for you. So join a sorority, join mine. But yeah, my favorite memory. Dang, there's so many good ones. Oh, there's so many good ones. Okay, I'm gonna do a recent one. So in like May, I think it was, of 2023, me and my line sister and some of my pros went to Mexico together. And like on the second to last day of our trip, we had sat poolside, baby. Poolside, because we was at a nice all-inclusive resort, whatever. And we were sitting poolside and we all decided to like I think it was like we did favorite memories or like one thing that we like love about each other or something like that. Child, by the time we got done with that, we was all crying. It's 99 degrees in Mexico. We crying and hot. And it was just such a beautiful, intimate moment that, you can't replace moments like that. You just can't. And it's interesting because like a lot of us don't live in the same place. Like I don't think any of us honestly lived in the same place except for when we were at Cornell. And so like me being from Chicago and some of my pros being from LA and one of my pros, living in New York City, and then my line sister being in Ann Arbor, like we finally got to come together as one. And we normally don't get to do that with everybody. Like it might just be like the East Coast people that get to hang out, or, the people that are more central get to hang out just because it's just easier and costs a lot less. But we actually planned the trip and the troop made out the group chats. And yeah, it was really fun. Like the whole trip was fun, but that was specifically like the best part to me because I just love a heart to heart. I love a bonding moment. You know what I'm saying? And that just really warmed my heart. You know what I'm saying? And we was just crying and it was so cute. Let me think of another moment. Oh, well, my sister became an AKA, period. Like, I don't really know what you want me to say. That's the moment. That's the moment. It's nothing like watching your seed, my offspring, join my organization. And like, it was so exciting. Like all of it was exciting, honestly. Like, I'm just getting emotional. All of it was like, really exciting. Like being able to like be at home and like make all her gifts. And like, it was, I think it was like an added layer to it because I picked out all my sister's gifts for my mom, and I made my sister's gifts in wood pieces and stuff like that. And to see like her be excited about it and be happy and like all the stuff like that, like, it just was so beautiful. And then seeing her like get initiated and her friends like, and like, it was just a beautiful moment. And like, we've been waiting for a long time. Like my sister got initiated 6 years after me. Like it's been 6 years. Hurry up. I mean, she did it the quickest way possible that she could have at her school, but still like, it's just nothing like that moment. And like, it was crazy because me and my sister have like the business together and we make wood pieces together. And I couldn't tell her nothing. And we talk every day. And I be showing her the stuff I work on every day. And I had to just act like I was working on it. I just had to act like it wasn't just so cute. And I wasn't just snapping on her stuff. I just had to act. And it was so hard. I just wanted to be like, oh, look at this. It's so cute. But I just couldn't. So I was just so excited because I was like, oh, I can't wait to get this stuff out the house, take it to New Orleans. Like, are you kidding? But yeah, having like friends and family there as well. Like, and then it running into homecoming too. Like, it was just a vibe. Like, yeah, it was a good little set of like 2-3 weeks. It was a good little set. I think another thing too is like, just like outside of AKA, the friends that you make in like other Greek organizations too. Like I have a friend that is a Zeta. They're actually twins. But I'm like closer to one than I am the other. But essentially being able to like, I don't know, have that commonality with other people, even though they're not in your org, you know, the love that they have for their org, the passion that they have for community service and doing things for their, you know, whether that's your campus environment or your community environment or whoever, like whatever environment that you're serving. Just having like that same mutual love for serving, and high scholastic standards and just things of that nature. I think it just opens up to a even broader community. And I have a friend specifically where like, since I was the only person like on my line that stayed in Chicago, like a lot of people, well, I mean, there's people from like the Midwest, but primarily it was just me that was from Chicago. So I didn't really have like a lot of friends once all my friends moved after graduation and stuff that lived in Chicago. So being able to like connect with my Zeta friends has been like a vibe. We do a lot of stuff together, whether that's community service or just going and hanging out at parties and stuff like that. And I think we've gotten a lot closer since she also joined the organization too, because we kind of can just understand each other on a different level. We can have different types of conversations. I can help her, she can help me, and we can motivate each other within our organizations. You know, she's a little bit younger than me, so she kind of looks up to me sometimes as a mentor. And then there's things that about her that like I look up to as well. Like she is just has a kind, just the sweetest person ever. Like she has a good heart. She has a good heart, and we can all learn from that. But just being able to make other connections outside of just AKA, like there's business that she's giving me for, you know, Zeta. There's just people that she's introduced me to. Like I came to visit her when she had her first line, like stuff like that. Like there's just moments that we've had together that are different than the moments that I've had with my other sorors, and I can support her in that same exact way. I think just being able to have connections with other people in Greek letter organizations as well is just very important. And it's just, I don't know, it feels good to be able to have that camaraderie as well, in a different way. But I really do value the moments that we share. So shout out to KRAT_KBZ on Instagram. You probably see her on my page because that's who I be hanging out with. And so yeah. Period. Scratchity. Here's my AKA sock. It came off my foot because my cat was chewing on it while I was trying to record my video. Period. But yes, thank you guys so much for watching. I hope this kind of got you all to get to know me a little better on the Greek sense. Let me know if you guys want me to do a get to know me that is not Greek. Any questions that you guys might have. I'm really excited that I have a lot of new subscribers. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Like, comment, and subscribe if you know the vibes, and I'll see you in the next video.